What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction. Back with some more Sinéad O'Connor and her 1992 album Am I Not Your Girl? And given that this album has been covers and standards, I decided to search Wikipedia for the next track by writing in the song title. And as it turns out, Gloomy Sunday was originally written by a Hungarian songwriter and composer while he was in Paris in the early 1930s. And there seems to be a bit of discussion or disagreement as to the source of Gloomy Sunday, meaning some people consider it part of his personal experiences at the time on an emotional level. Other folks have pointed to the rise of fascism in his native Hungary at the time and have suggested that that probably had something to do with it. Of course, it might be both, but certainly the atmosphere of the track is very much set by the title. Gloomy, heavy, melancholy, and a Sunday, perhaps a day relative to others that is less busy, when you don't have as much distraction from gloomy feelings or melancholy thoughts. So yes, it seems like a very emotional tune, and I'm very curious to hear what Sinead will do with it. So let's give it a listen. This is Sinead O'Connor and her version of a song from the 1930s called Gloomy Sunday. love some of the stylings of oldie-timey tunes, and this album is impressing me, the instrumentation and arrangement of these songs sonically, because they really just capture that early to mid 20th century feel, and the way they flourish at the end and softly walk out the door. And yes, so I'm now recalling, again, I just had a flash, just a quick glance at the Wikipedia page, but I remember there was like a secondary title that was something like Hungarian Suicide Song, and we definitely hear that theme in the track, the idea that she's almost welcoming death at this point because it would be a relief, a release, and an ability to caress the other person and to use her final breaths to bless them. So there's a loving devotion in a lot of the lines, but also this melancholic resignation and a sense that the real world, life in a physical sense, is not going to get any better, so it might be best for all involved if she were to hand herself over and accelerate the process in that regard. So definitely a heavy one, definitely a gloomy one. And again, I can understand how, especially if people were aware of the songwriting context in which the original writer, I'm trying to remember his name now, it was like something starting with an R for the given name, I think something starting with an S for the surname. But I can understand how there's some lines there that you could maybe take on a grander level, and then some lines which I think lend themselves very perfectly to a personal sadness about the loss of a relationship, or indeed a loved one who's passed away and who the narrator is speaking to from beyond the grave, and thus there's this impossibility of being with them short of taking the most pained and terminal of routes. So yeah, like in the immediate way the lines hit me, I can see a smaller scale understanding. But again, speaking to his country in terms of the original songwriter, it also makes sense to me that, it's like, oh, well, my country is almost dead now because of these large scale and oppressive and exclusionary forces who've taken over. So yes, ultimately I think it's a song that probably functions on multiple levels. I think Sinead's vocal delivery, is very impressive, and all the gloominess that the lyrics suggest, I think, is well carried by her delivery, and there's just a sadness in the way she articulates some of the lines, so I think it's very fitting, and her voice is very beautiful. So it's another one where it's not modernizing it in any way. It doesn't feel like it's a track with, 90s stylings. It feels like you just took Sinead's voice and put it in a 1930s song. So I enjoy the throwback feel of it. So yeah, a sad tune, a very heavy tune conceptually, but I think she pulls it off very well. So once again, enjoying this album a great deal. And obviously, as someone who enjoys jazz, we've gotten some different flavors and some different levels of jazz compositions, big band kind of jazz, and in here a very solemn and melancholic, simpler, more minimal arrangement of jazz styling. So yes, loving the album is my point. Do let me know what you think of this one, and I will see you next time. Peace.